Hi, lovely people. It's a beautiful day, and I'm happy that you joined me on my channel today. If you're new, Karibu Sana. And if you're interested in listening to conversations about a lot of aspects, different aspects from life to business, to some of the challenges that we go through, to the good times as well, to traveling, remember to hit the subscribe button. And I would really love to hear from you as well, your experiences, so that we can learn from each other. So you can leave your comments on the comment section, and let's connect. And yeah, we talk to each other and learn from each other. It would be lovely. Before we jump into today's video, I'd like us to check in with each other. And I have a question that I would like for you to reflect and just write down your answer before you continue. So, who are the most important people in your life, and how are you showing up for them now and before? Just think about it, write it down, and I'll give one of the major reasons. It's because May is Mental Health Awareness, and it's good to check on each other. So, who are these people, and how are you showing up for them? So, do that and think about it. So let's get into today's video, and I'll be sharing with you my experience living and working in Uganda. I think it's been a very unique, interesting experience for me, and I would love to share with you how it was for me. The working, the landscape, the people, the food, it was a lot. I think if you're looking to probably working in a different country, or you're just looking to explore different spaces, I think that some of the things that I got to learn as I worked in a different country, you'll be able to also get something from it. And if you've had experiences similar to mine as well, you can share so that we get to hear from each other. It will be fun. And I look forward to interacting with you in the comment section. So, how did I find myself in Uganda? And when was that? I traveled to Uganda sometime last year in July, and it's because I got a job opportunity from a very interesting network that I made from my previous job. I think also that reminded me of how important networks are, because I left my previous job, and like 15 days later, when someone is checking up on you and asking you what you're doing, what you're up to, and I mentioned that I'm looking for new opportunities, and my friend shared, and I was able to apply, did the interview, passed, and yeah, here it was. And I thought it would be very interesting to travel, to have different experience in a different place, and I was excited about it. And I said, why not? Let me go and see how this place is, and that's why I decided to go. And if you're Kenny, I know you're watching. Thank you so much. It was quite an interesting experience for me. So my job opportunity was in line with what I've been doing. If you've watched a previous video that I did about helping people do create businesses, I've been in the ecosystem for quite some time, and I love teaching and mentoring and guiding young aspiring entrepreneurs and those who have businesses as well. And because this opportunity was in line with my passion, I decided to go. The one thing that I found interesting was I was guiding a totally different group of people, and these are refugees from East Africa. So we had people from Burundi, from Congo, from South Sudan, from Uganda itself, from Rwanda. And it's because some of them are children of refugees of a very long time ago. So they've lived there, but they're still under the system. And they've been supported by an organization called GRS. So GRS has an institution where it's a sort of like a vocational training center, and they teach refugees things like language, baking, hairdressing, art. And this, I think, they're looking at how can they empower them to move out of being dependent to an organization. So how can they have other skills that they can use out there to create their own opportunities? And what I was doing was to now empower them to use what they're learning to create businesses. So, for example, someone who's doing hairdressing, when you finish your training, instead of looking for someone to employ you, how can you use your skill and create an opportunity for yourself? So what I was doing in the team was take these students through a process of ideation and then to market. How do you create opportunities for yourself? How are you able to identify the problems in your community? And it was nice because most of them, where they live, it's their people, and they were able to identify the needs of the community, and they were able to create businesses. And not all of them were majoring in what they were doing. So for example, you'll find someone who's into fashion, but they end up opening a restaurant. So for them, they see that as a need. So it's not always about the skills that they were training. It was about the needs of the community. And I loved the opportunity. I loved what they were doing. And it was interesting to see them graduate, getting grants, and actually doing their biashara. And there was quite a lot, of course, when you're in a new space. There's challenges and there's good stuff. So I'll start with the good stuff. There was quite a lot of things that I enjoyed when I was there, and one of them, of course, was food. And food, I can mention so many. I love eating, so who doesn't? So the foods for me, I'll just name top five. There's quite a lot, and for me, I think I really enjoyed eating peanut. My roommate had a big jar of peanut. Trust, I finished it. I think in 2 weeks. She was like, "You ate all that?" Yeah, it was really good. It's natural. They haven't added anything, and they were being sold everywhere on the streets. That's a sight that I don't see here in Kenya. It's like I don't know. I'm trying to remember what I see being sold so common like that. I can't think of any. But yes, so peanut was available everywhere. I enjoyed eating their pineapples, juicy every day, and was very affordable. In Kenya shillings, I think a whole pineapple was going for like 50 shillings. So trust, you can eat every single day. The other food I totally enjoyed was the matokes. And the way they make it is totally different, of course, with peanut, and they eat that a lot for breakfast. I remember there's a day my roommate made for me breakfast. So like, breakfast is ready. And I was waiting for the kawaida breakfast, tea, bread. She was bringing a plate of matoke. I'm like, yes. I know people mentioned that they actually eat food, but it didn't click me until when I was there to see having matoke for breakfast. It's normal. Yeah, there was many food stuff that I enjoyed. The other thing is the people. They're quite accommodative. They're really warm. When I was getting to Uganda, I only knew my friend network that I mentioned, Kenny, and I had to find accommodation. I had to learn how to move around. And when I got there, the one of the challenges I think I can just mention here is SIM card. I couldn't get a SIM card because my visa had a problem. And for me to renew my visa, I had to wait for the 3 months, so I couldn't register. And there's a gentleman who gave me their own SIM card to use because, of course, I needed to communicate. And then just when you ask something, guys will show you. They're warm, and of course, I met some Kenyans as well who've settled there, and they were really helpful to see me, have a good time. I made a lot of friends. Yeah, I think it was the good stuff are many. If I start mentioning, I think I won't finish. So in a different country, it comes with a lot of things, new things. The landscape is different. There are things you're used to doing that is no longer there, and you're trying to adopt, right? So I think one of them will be personal and just in the place as is, because you're used to this kind of life, and then you have to sort of like adopt to a new way of living, a new way of doing things, and you actually forced to learn very quickly. And like for me, because I got there on a Saturday and I was starting my work on Monday, so it was a bit crazy to even learn the landscape and see where all these places are. And I think for me, one of the major challenge that came was being far away from my son. I think the first day I had not thought about how crazy it would be. I'm thinking it's just 6 months and I'll be back. I'll find time to, visit. But I think from even the first night, just sleeping, you're used to someone there close to you, warm. I'll cuddle my pillow. It was not the same. I kept waking up at night. I would hear him call me at night. I think it was the hardest. But what I did to sort of manage that, I used to do video calls with him every single day. And sometimes we'll just put my video there and I'll see him play for hours. And it made me feel like I'm not so far away. And I also hope it helped him as well, because it's not easy when you're used to seeing someone and doing certain things with them, and then suddenly it's not there. It was crazy, but we made it work until when I was able to come back. The other challenge was, of course, cooking. I never had time to cook. Every time I planned to say like, oh, I miss Kenyan food, let me, mix up something, and I will go outside. Of course, when I'm seeing this chicken and nice food, I end up buying junk. Yeah. So that was the other challenge. And I was eating a lot of bread, eggs. So my diet was a bit off. So that was another challenge that I had during that time. The other challenge is friends. I'm in this new place. I know my friend, and then I had to make friends, and I take time. I take time to make friends. So I had to quickly learn how to talk to people. So that's something I haven't done in a very long time. But I had to quickly talk to people, see how to connect with other people in a different country, who are speaking different languages as well. And I'm glad that I was able. I've said that these guys are amazing, and it wasn't such a hard time for me to connect with the people. The other challenge, this I think is one. I think everyone who asked me how was Uganda, I always start with this. My Uganda people, I love you very much, but the transport for me was just no. I think taking motorbikes every day was challenging, not just because of the distance, and it affected my health as well. I had to use an inhaler that I haven't used in a very long time every single day. I was People had stopped wearing masks, but I was wearing masks every single day. I think even in town people are wondering, hey, this girl, no one is wearing, but you're the only one wearing mask, and there's no way you're explaining why you're wearing a mask and everyone else is not wearing. But I had to do what I had to do. The distance, I was doing trainings in two different locations, and in different days I'll be needed in two different, and it was far. I found it far, maybe because they're used to these distances, they didn't find it a challenge, but for me I felt like it was far, having to go there morning. Good thing I wasn't going very early in the morning, so I would leave like at 10, and then I'm there before the training starts. I leave there at 3. I have enough time to come back home. That was the good part. So I didn't have the pressure to leave early, and when I come back, I had time to rest before the next day. And wow, the language. I remember when here in Kenya, if you taking a motorbike or a bus, someone will say hi or abari, or there's this vibe of saying hi to each other, right? So there they also had theirs, and every time I would take a motorbike, they will speak to me in their language, and I'll just be blank, like, are you asking me a question? Is it a greeting? And it was just confusing, and there was no wrapping it around. So when I keep quiet, I was like, oh, you're not Ugandan. So there was that, and it got to a point where I sort of understood because it's the same. So I'll just say I'm fine, and then they'll be like, you're not Ugandan, because even the response is in a particular way. So if you don't respond how they respond, then they know you're new. Um, into the language bit, I remember there's a day, the pronunciation of how they say their towels, it's different. The K's cha, I think it's there's a day I took a motorbike and I was trying to explain to this guy. So we are, having a conversation, and I'm explaining to him the other location that I go to and how far it is. And then because I pronounced it wrongly, the guy thought I traveled to, was it in Zambia? So the town is called, I think they pronounce it Zambia or Zambia. my people will correct me. But so I said Zambia, and they thought this guy told me, "You go all the way to Zambia and back." And before I noticed, he's saying Zambia, the country. I'm like, "Yeah, I have to go and come back." And he was like, "That's so far. You do that all the time." And then until when I alighted, that's when I got him thought I go to a different country and come back for training. And I was like, "Oh, I missed that." Because you see, now that was a barrier that was there. The other interesting bit was the currency. I never got used to the money. I will use my calculator when I go to the supermarket. One, I will convert to see how much it is. I think a lot of people do this conversion. And in my head, when I'm given 50,000 as a Kenyan, 50,000 is a lot of money. I will pick my 50K. I go to the supermarket, I buy things. I'm like, wait, I thought I was rich, but you're not. So my mental state took time. Like I took time to understand that 5,000 is just 300. It's 5,000 is like 300 shillings, you know. And every time before I leave the house, I had to do the maths. I had to do the maths so that I know, okay, so if I have 100,000, this is what I'm going to buy with 100,000. And I still, at the end, knowing that the currency is different, I still felt, ouch, I've bought shopping for 200,000. What is this that I've bought? Yeah, but it was fun as well. The other thing I think was the money transfer. Being here, I was used to mobile money. I don't remember the last time I carried cash with me. And when I got to Uganda, it was I had exchanged not so much. So I had to find my bank, which was hectic. In fact, the first few days my ATM wasn't working. The money that I had on M-Pesa, finding an M-Pesa place to withdraw was something else. And now it was finding an ATM, finding a bank. I was calling. In fact, I remember the customer service at the bank in Uganda, INM, told me, "You have to call your bank in Kenya." I'm like, "But it's the bank. You're supposed to help me." It was a huge challenge. I was frustrated that day. And I think after my SIM registration failing, and then this is coming, you have to navigate, you have to move around, and then you can't even access money. It's frustrating. And I'm glad that my bank was able to help, and I was able to access the funds, and I was okay. But it was something else for me. And like I say, that getting a SIM card was one of the huge part of, when you go to a different country, you want to communicate, moving around and all. And when I wasn't able to register for a SIM card, I didn't have Wi-Fi, and even connectivity in Uganda is not as in Kenya. So I was used to finding Wi-Fi spots literally everywhere. And here I was in Uganda. If I walk to a mall, I asked someone, Wi-Fi was just maybe you guys have had different experiences, but that was how mine was. Finding Wi-Fi connection was not as easy. Yeah, just getting to communicate and even buying bundles. I was spending equivalent of 500 shillings almost every day. Those are calls and my internet, and even that internet was just doing the basics communication. I can't stream to watch anything. And yeah, it was hard. I ended up watching the CDs. Those are my movies. I went back to the old school. It's been a minute, but yeah, you get to adopt, and every day, even if it's challenging, you sort of like figure out how to deal with it and to navigate, because it's part of life, it's part of the experience, the good and the bad. So yeah, I loved the challenges as well. I got to appreciate as well the things that I have back here, and also just learning and seeing opportunities. I think when I was in Uganda, I saw a lot of opportunities, like quite a lot. And the few Kenyans that I got to interact as well, they told me, like, we came here and most of them don't even want to come back to Kenya. They're like, this is the place to be. Yeah, so probably if I had stayed for longer, I would have uh, gotten an opportunity to do something. Who knows? Never know. But yes, it was. I managed the challenges. They were not as hard. Yeah. With working at GRS, I got to discover quite a few things about myself, and that was training and teaching people. For the longest time, I used to think that speaking in front of people was not my thing. Like public speaking, if you tell me to do public, I'll just tell you no. But just standing in front of these students and guiding them for hours, mentoring them after, I was like, I really love doing this. I've done it before, but doing this gave me an confirmation that this is what you enjoy, and I was good at it, and I loved it very much. There was other things that I discovered about myself as well, and this is I can speak Swahili very well because we used to have English and Kiswahili, and sometimes I'll be asked to, because that was part of the advantage in terms of skills that I brought to the table. And there was this day I had 2 hour session Kiswahili, and I really took them through. And I kept asking because my Swahili is different, Kenyan Kiswahili compared to, I'm training people from Congo, I'm training people from Burundi, and then there's now Ugandans who barely speak Kiswahili. Then we have the South Sudanese. It was interesting, and there's a lot, but I think today I will share those two. Professionally, of course, I got to gain a lot of experience in the entrepreneurship ecosystem, and I'm able to right now take through a group of 40 to 50 people through a program very well. And I think there's quite a lot of growth. If I start speaking, by the way, I won't finish. But I love that I was able to showcase my skills and expertise in a different space, and it gives me sort of like an advantage. And now I know I can easily work in a different culture with different people and still connect and be able to, to offer the best of me. So yeah, I think there was a lot of growth that came with the job and the experience and with the people and with the country. I was able to make a lot of friends, and this is actually thanks to my housemate. She's an amazing lady, and she used to organize game nights, and through these game nights, I was able to make a number of friends, and some of these people I still talk to. I still have, that connection that I think is something that I wouldn't have gained if I hadn't gone there. And these are people that I'm learning from. They were able to take me through, Kampala, the life of, Kampala, as they say it. Like it's the lively night. Though I still see, like, I still say Nairobi is late, but they say Kampala is later. But that one is a debate that will never end, of course, because we have our different preferences. I think I will definitely travel again and visit Uganda. I would love to just see the place. The thing that I wasn't able to see the beautiful space, and this is because I kept telling myself I have time. Yeah, I have time to see the different spaces, and I kept every Sunday, every Saturday, I'm like, I'll go the next time, I'll go, but I never got to experience. And I think this is a lesson that I will like to share, some of the lessons that I got to learn from my journey, because my term, like I said at the beginning, I was supposed to stay for 6 months, but it was cut short by another major challenge that I haven't talked about. I got really sick, and I was forced to come back home. This is a story for another day I will share with you. So I had to cut that journey short and come back home. And I wasn't able to do all these things, yeah, that I said that I will do tomorrow. So if you have something that you want to do, just do it, because you don't know how your tomorrow will be. And this is, I think, a major lesson for me. So if I was to go visit from a balcony, I could see the temple. It's called Baha'i Temple. It's one of the amazing spaces in Uganda to visit. And I will see it every day. And I'll say, I'll go. It's just here, we'll go. But I never got to see it. So I'll say, if you want to do something, don't postpone, just do it. Because you don't know how things will change for you and for the people around you. The other big lesson is do your research. I think I assumed that Uganda is like Kenya, it's Africa, it's just here, just a border away. So I got a lot of surprises in terms of the landscape. It's so hilly, though. It's totally different. I think I underestimated that. So if you're going to work or visit, make sure you do your research very well, so that you're able to have an easy way of navigating through a different space. And I'm definitely coming back to Kampala, and at least I have people who can host me. So whether it's working, whether it's exploring, I hope to come back and reconnect with some of the amazing friends that I was able to make in Uganda. So I think if you're looking to, maybe you have an opportunity in Uganda and you're not sure how to go about it, feel free to ask me whichever question. I forgot where I was staying in Kampala. So I wasn't like I think my major lesson, I still insist on this: just do what you want to do tomorrow, today, just do it. I think my health really shook me, and it's cut everything short, and I had to come back. But I'm glad that I'm okay now, and definitely looking forward to reconnect with my friends, my Kenyan friends who we met there. To have to do things that we had planned to do. Yeah, there was quite a lot of things, and I'll definitely come and do those things without hesitation. And I'm so grateful for just being here, and thank you so much for listening. And I look forward to hearing your different stories, whether it's in Uganda or a different country that you went. You got surprises that you didn't expect, some of the challenges that you encountered, and how did you deal with that? Because all of us, someone out there is looking to travel, whether they're going to study or work or just visiting for the first time, especially for the first timers. I think those who've traveled before have already gotten, how things are. So if it's a first timer and they're traveling, share your experiences so that we can all learn from each other and we see the world. I look forward to traveling many places with you. So I look forward to sharing more, and stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can have, some of the amazing conversations that I'll be sharing with you and also with the guests, my friends, because I think it has a lot of things, amazing experiences that we can learn from each other. So till next video, bye bye.